All right, our next fighter making his way to the cage, the dreaded assassin, Khalid Shannon.
Fighting out of Systems Training Center in Los Angeles, California, is Khalid Jihad Shannon. The 29-year-old stands 6 feet 1 inch tall. The Southpaw fighter has a record of 1 win and 4 losses. Here to turn that tide tonight. He put on his camo profile that he will take any and all fights, and that's what he has done. Fought some really tough guys, Christian Garcia in his first fight, Jacob Unger in his second fight, and his last fight here at the U against Sonny Sweet, a round 2 submission loss. You know, Khalid's a really aggressive, talented striker. His Achilles heel so far has been that submission game.
Yeah, he looked awesome his last fight too. I was disappointed because he looked super sharp, but you know the great thing is he can go 1-10 amateur, but learn so much. And if he goes pro, it's all out the window because he's looked better every fight. Like he's definitely a guy who doesn't look deterred. Like every time I've seen him fight, he looks just as focused.
Well, his attitude is really excellent for the amateurs. He views this time in the amateurs as learning, as he definitely should. And he talked about that before the fight. Really his mental growth, learning how to keep his mind clear and focused coming into the fight. Other big change is actual proper training. In his first 2 fights, he didn't actually do any training, didn't have a team. He just went, hey, it looks fun. Hitting people and not getting in trouble, I like that. And he just went in and fought.
Sounds pretty fun. Sounds pretty fun.
He's also really been working on his jiu-jitsu and counter wrestling, especially considering that 3 of those 4 losses are by submission. That's going to be a big change for him.
And his opponent making his way to the cage, Austin Davis.
And fighting out of my alma mater's town, Goleta, California, is 19-year-old Austin Davis. The Orthodox fighter stands 5 feet 10 inches tall with a record of 1 win and 1 loss here in California Amateur Mixed Martial Arts. Both fights ending by submission. His last fight in February 2013, a loss, a round 3 submission to Castle Williams. You know, one thing true about Austin Davis, this guy has lots of heart. There is no quit in this fighter.
We have a 10-year age difference in this fight too. I always find that interesting. You know, the amateur fights, sometimes you have these big age discrepancies.
Really an interesting difference. Austin Davis, really capable of taking lots of punishment without taking his foot off the gas. Good cardio. The guy still throws very hard, even in the 3rd round. Doesn't lose, doesn't really fade along the way. Against a guy like Khalid Shannon, who can really keep those strikes coming, that's going to pay off for him in the long run.
Yeah, the thing Khalid Shannon has going for him is this is his 6th fight. You know, he's had 6 fights, so he knows how it is.
Our next fight of the evening is brought to you by OTM Fight Shops. Visit otmfightshops.com for all your MMA needs. Fight is scheduled for 3 2-minute rounds in the 145-pound division. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, a freestyle fighter. He comes to the cage with a record of 1 win and 4 losses. He stands at 6 feet 1 inch tall and weighing at 144.6 pounds. Representing Systems Training Center from Los Angeles, California, the dreaded assassin, Khalid Shannon. And his opponent across the cage, fighting out of the red corner, a Kung Fu practitioner. He brings a record of 1 win and 1 loss to the cage. He stands at 5 feet 10 inches tall and weighing at 144.4 pounds. Fighting with Valhalla Training Center from Goleta, California, Austin Davis. Man in charge of the action, Mike Bell.
Here we go, ready for our 7th fight of the night here at 145 pounds. Austin Davis in the red, Khalid Shannon in the blue.
Khalid Shannon coming out landing a really nice combination. Hook, cross, hook combination, but he gets himself against the cage, have him defend.
Now, Austin Davis, mostly known for having a really strong kicking game, throws lots of kicks, creative techniques and angles, but here, going for that grappling early.
Yeah, he's got himself a double underhooks with probably, if you're going to pick a clinching position, it's probably your best clinching position with the highest percentage of getting takedowns. So we have Khalid Shannon just pressing him against the cage, trying to let him strike, not really engaging in the clinching too much.
Oh, a low blow catches Austin Davis right in the basket.
If you notice, it looks like on the bridge of the nose, Austin Davis has a cut already. See, that's it's not always the best place to get hit.
Never fun to get that little spot, but it looks like Austin is going to be able to come back from it without too much trouble.
It's usually rather embarrassing too. Like you gotta sit there and fix yourself. He's doesn't look in too much pain.
Here comes the replay, and oof.
Looks like he kind of jumped into it. I feel like he jumped into that knee.
Yeah, and that knee jumped right up inside of him.
Not the best feeling, and they're back at it.
Here's our restart. Wasting no time as Davis throwing that big looping right hand. And like I said about those kicks of Austin Davis, very creative with those kicks, lots of angles.
Trying for another single leg. Switched it off to a high crotch. Shannon looking to try somewhat of a reverse triangle, come over the top.
Now, very interesting, Shannon told me earlier that he's really looking to get to the back now. He's found a love of taking people's backs, going for the choke. So you saw him kind of switch his hips a little bit early. I think now he's more looking for that triangle like you were talking about.
Yeah, you know, he's looking to push that knee because it's he has almost like a spider. Now he has a triangle locked up. Now all he has to do with 20 seconds left, he's got to pull the head down. Not really focus too much on getting the arm, just pull the head down. He should be able to get himself a submission. This looks really tight.
Khalid Shannon using those long legs.
Rather tight. If he put his right arm through the leg, he could cinch up a little tighter. But I think he's going to escape the round, getting out of a very tight triangle. Looks a little dazed, but got out of the round.
You know, one interesting thing about that triangle, though, Shannon did not put Davis's arm across the front, which can really be a big part of making sure that choke cuts off the blood.
Yeah, getting the arm across is key. It's not always needed, but it definitely helps in making it tighter and also taking away an escape route.
You know, one thing I'm really impressed with in terms of, we're talking about Khalid Shannon's evolution as a martial artist, was his composure on the ground and in those wrestling situations. Very different from the last couple of times I've seen him.
I don't know what you were saying. I was looking at the ring girls, so I wasn't really paying attention.
Yes, in case you didn't know, we're about to have round number 2. We have a few lovely ladies here to show us what round it's about to be.
Were there numbers on those cards?
I think so.
I think there might have been. You know, a good idea would be if the girls put the numbers like on their shorts, because that's actually where everyone's looking.
Let's suggest that. Why don't you write a proposal and we'll see who bites. Here we go, round number 2. Austin Davis in the red, Khalid Shannon in the blue.
I'm not really like the way Austin Davis is coming in with his hands down. He's got to watch out because he's fighting a southpaw opponent, so you're almost walking into your opponent's lead hook.
This is a southpaw, but a long southpaw too.
Are there different lengths of southpaw?
Well, for example, if you're a southpaw 2-year-old, your length might be different than a southpaw LeBron James.
Now they're striking. Very wild. Now there's Shannon on his back end. See, let's see if he can work that triangle again.
You know, one thing about Davis, though, very explosive. Lots of power in the strikes of Austin Davis.
Yeah, he's winging shots. You know, now he's in again. Might look for the single leg again. He found some success with that last round. There he is, switches to the single leg. Oh, actually a double leg.
Austin finally gets those hands together and dumps Khalid Shannon.
Now see Shannon if he tries for this triangle again. He's looking for a setup. Armbar right there, coming over the top with an armbar. He's readjusting for that short armbar. This could be trouble. If he spins out the bottom, I'm pleasantly impressed by his improved jiu-jitsu skills. He looked good last fight, but now we're seeing him really lock up some stuff.
We talked about that improvement in his mentality and that focus and clarity, and you can really see he seems a lot more focused and a lot more comfortable in the cage.
Yeah, well, you know, win or loss, you know, you learn something from every fight. You know, Chael Sonnen said fighting Anderson Silva twice, he learned more than any fight he's ever won. And there we have it. There's the end of round 2. We might be have a tight fight right here.
Yeah, you got to wonder what changes these guys are going to make in this next round. Austin Davis, you have to think that some judges are seeing him as the winner so far, being on top in these rounds.
Yes.
Of course, we've seen before tonight how those close submissions can sway a judge's opinion, take a half point from one to the other person.
They can, and you know, I think takedowns are a big factor. Takedowns are huge in the scoring.
So who do you have ahead on the scorecards right now?
Right now, I actually probably have Austin Davis up by a half point.
So what does Khalid need to do to come back?
Well, one, finish the fight with either a submission or a knockout, or two, just don't end up on the back. You know, keep some distance, not really engage in too much clinching unless it's offensive clinching.
So here we go, round number 3 of this 145-pound contest between Austin Davis and Khalid Shannon. See if we see a little more striking here in this third round, especially those kicks of Austin Davis.
Yeah, if I was Shannon's corner, I'd say work on try to get that short hook going.
An interesting note about those kicks of Davis, I think they've messed a little bit with the gauging of distance by Shannon. He has not been quick to striking in their early exchanges so far.
Yeah, because I think, you know, Davis did a good job of throwing one head kick, because it's a good way to make the guy think about a head kick. Even if you're not going to throw it again, throw one up there and it lingers in the back of your opponent's mind. So with these short rounds, if Davis gets a takedown here, this is huge. You know, what Shannon should be doing is pushing the head down, breaking the posture. But now he's got to work for the triangle. And he's got it again. He locked it up again.
He's got that first leg through. The question is, can he get that locked under his knee?
He has time. Now he's got to pull the head down, lift the hips up, squeeze the legs together. His angle is fine. He could slightly adjust his angle as he's doing by reaching on the leg. But this is tight. He just got to keep his right leg pinched down. But you could have a submission.
And now
switching
Shannon
off
switches
to
to the armbar.
He should stay with the triangle. Just keep the right leg pinched down. Now that is your tight finishing position. We've seen guys like Nate Diaz finish triangles like this, and he's out. But that is your finishing position. Now he's switching to somewhat of an armbar. You know, he's got 20 seconds. If I was Shannon, you got to try one more time for an armbar, because you might lose the fight right here.
You know, you gotta like the offensive guard so far of Khalid Shannon, but it might prove to be a little bit too little to turn the tide of this fight.
There we have it.
That's a tough affair for these two guys. You know, again, I don't envy judges in this position. How do you score that kind of ground exchange? Yes, Austin Davis is on top. Yes, he dumped him. But who was in more danger there? Who was in danger of being finished?
Davis was the only guy in danger. You know, he landed a couple good strikes on top. It really just depends on how, you know, who the judges are. If they come from a wrestling background, have they fought? I know one of our judges, Rafael Davis, comes from a fighting background, so he understands how fights work. He was a wrestler, so we'll see how he judges the takedowns and how he judges the submission attempts.
You know, one thing about tonight is that there hasn't been any lopsided fights going to decision. All our decisions tonight have been razor thin.
We've had a couple of split decisions already. It shows you it's tough to really get a landslide with these 2-minute rounds, because you know if you, I don't know, it's just hard. It's hard to get ahead with these short rounds. What you do in the first 30 seconds really affects the whole round.
And not just 2-minute rounds, but the slight tweaks to the scoring system in California amateur mixed martial arts.
The half points make a big difference. And I think MMA should head towards these half rounds, because you see a lot more landslides in pro MMA when the fight itself was somewhat closer, but you win 2 rounds, that 3rd round you just have to coast. That the half points would take that away.
That would definitely force the action a bit if you're razor thin ahead in rounds 1 and 2, and you don't want to get like a total loss in round number 3 that could lead to a draw or even a loss.
Another thing, England does it. They do not all the fights, but a lot of England fights. After each round, they announce who won the round.
Interesting.
So you know how you're doing, and you know, it would make it a lot better, because like every other sport, you know what the score is going into the 4th quarter or going into your last round or something like that. You know who's winning. And in boxing and MMA, it's like you don't know. You're curious. You know, so that's another thing that could help with the fights, if you know who won the rounds.
BJ Penn actually suggested a change to the scoring system. I don't know if you know. BJ Penn suggested that if a fight is unfinished in 3 rounds, that it should go to a 4th sudden death round. And if no one finishes it, the fight's called a draw.
I'm not opposed to that at all. I'd maybe tweak that a little bit. I wouldn't mind going to the 4th. I know the UFC now has the if a draw happens, they do go to a 4th round in certain cases, but you know, it hasn't happened yet.
You know, one thing that's interesting is that there's been sort of this movement towards the unified rules of mixed martial arts in the last few years, and people really feel like the rules have been set. But honestly, it's a young sport that still has room to make these subtle changes. Hell, even the NFL is changing rules at this late stage of the game.
Well, the unified rules have changed a few times. We've had slight changes, you know, clarifications of the, you know, hitting back of the head and stuff, the whole Mohawk rule.
All right, here with our official decision is Salvador Arellano.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds of action, we go to the judges' scorecard. First judge scores a fight 29.5 to 28.5 for Shannon. Second judge scores a fight 29 to 28 for Davis. Third and final judge scores a fight 29.5 to 28 for your winner by split decision. Out of the blue corner, the dreaded assassin, Khalid Shannon.
Let's give it up for both these fighters, showing a nice display of sportsmanship. Khalid, congratulations, how you feeling?
Exhausted.
Exhausted is how you should feel at the end of a fight. Now, I know you're coming off a couple losses. How did you prepare differently for this one coming into the cage tonight?
I just had to prepare myself mentally. I knew the skills were there. Couldn't let anything outside, fighting, life, work, relationships, couldn't let that affect me. So I came in here and did what I had to do.
And you did it well, sir. And I know you got a special birthday shout out you want to give to somebody in the audience?
Oh yeah, definitely. My auntie's birthday was yesterday. I told you I was gonna give you the shout out. Happy birthday, I hope you enjoyed the fight. Oh, hold on. I gotta thank everybody for coming out. This was the first fight where I actually asked people to come support me, and a lot of people came out and support me. Thank you guys very, very much. I appreciate it. And to my team, to Sisters Training Center, the greatest gym out there. Thank you guys. I love all of you.
Right on. Give it up for him. The winner, Khalid Shannon.